everyone. I am sitting in a very special place where I usually won't be able to sit. Because of the pandemic, they added some amazing tables to here in the Washington Street in Dumbo. So join me for a philosophical chat. Ask me anything, because it's such a beautiful view. So ask me anything about life, the universe, and everything. I'm Ariel with Urbanist. Welcome to Washington Street in New York City. What a great view is this? This is not a green screen. It looks like a green screen, but it isn't at all. It's actually a real life shot. It was really awesome. Like, I could imagine having this as like a Zoom green screen. It might not be live. Great, okay, all right, now good. I'm seeing comments, awesome. Whoa, what happened? Uh-oh. Technical malfunction. The view is too beautiful and I can't handle it. I will be fixing this soon. Wait up. Gimbal is panicking on me. The view is so beautiful. It's panicking on me. Did we lose sound? I think you guys should be able to hear me. Oh. Okay, so technical malfunction. Gretchen says, I'm ordering for your mask girl right now. Oh, amazing. I'm glad you are. Look at this. Ooh, such a beautiful view. Yeah, I just am absolutely in love. I wish I didn't have so many malfunctions with the gimbal. Sorry, everyone. Okay, I'm back. This video will be deleted anyway because so yeah, what day of beautiful videos. I'm so glad, Paula. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Feel free to ask me anything. Let's have a philosophical chat. I've chatted a lot about New York City. I've chatted a lot about Urbanist. So I decided to maybe offer all of you some beautiful blue hour view of the Manhattan Bridge skyline and some chats about anything about life, the universe, and everything. We can tie it into travel in some way, but feel free to ask me about life, the universe, and everything. Donna says, so beautiful and magical. It really is. Just look at that. Just look at that. So gorgeous. It's absolutely amazing that they added chairs here. One of the most photographed places on earth. It really is. And it looks like I'm in the green screen, but I'm not. This is actually real life sitting down. What a night. So beautiful. It really is. I'll try not to block it. You're perfect. Oh, Donna. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate it. What is my philosophy? That's a big question. That's almost like a very general question. I appreciate the question. I think you have to get more specific, so I wish I can answer this. But Howie has a good response, and Howie, I appreciate that reference. Howie says the answer is 42. Yeah. I think if you were to ask me, well, you do ask me, what is my philosophy? I would say love. Not in the kind of the glowing romantic sense, but in the sense of live every day of your life, every single moment with love. Whatever's happening, love it. You know, the broadcast went down, unfortunately, and it was a bummer because I actually wanted to do another mega walk, and it sounds windy. Yeah, it is. It is a bit windy. It's a bit windy. Maybe I'll put on my mic. Sorry, low battery, bad service in this area. Let me put on my mic and then I'll continue talking because it is a bit too windy for no mic. But I hope you enjoy the views nonetheless. So I use these mics. These mics have a wind cover and it's wireless. So the reason I'm not using it right now because I had to charge my battery, but this won't be a long broadcast. I will now you can hear me very loud and clear. Okay, I hope you can hear me now. Mic here. Cool. So my overall life philosophy is love. Love every single moment you're doing. Love it for what it is. Love it for the people who are around you. Love the people who are around you, no matter how bad it can get. And the universe, life, whatever you want to call it, can test you sometimes. But even while traveling, find a way to love something about where you are. And at the end of this broadcast, I realized I'm very hungry right now, and Dumbo kind of sucks for food, my own personal opinion. I don't like too many places around here, and they're closed as well beyond that. So I was already feeling kind of like, I'm in Dumbo, shit, I don't want to be here. I want to be somewhere else in Brooklyn. I was about to take the ferry, but the ferry was extremely packed to the brim. However, I decided, like, hey, make the best of it. And what I'm making the best of it is right here. Look at this view. Nothing can beat it. Nothing can beat it. Love is the answer for sure. If only there was more in this world. Better, thank you. Oh, I'm glad. I'm glad that this video will be deleted anyway, so feel free to ask me any crazy questions. We'll make this a very rare Urbanist broadcast where we just discuss anything really. Anything you would like. This won't survive. You have my word that this video will be deleted. Enjoy this view for what it is. You might not see it on Urbanist if they take away these chairs anytime soon. So feel free to ask me any crazy questions. Hey, Son Noir Raja, thank you so much for the $5. I appreciate the super chat. Again, these videos are sponsored by the super chatters, the star senders, the super chatters, the star senders, the supporters, and the patrons. Don't delete it, so good. I already said it was going to be deleted, so really take in this view. I'll try to be back here to take a photo though, because this is a really good view before they take away the chairs, but taking this view. No good donut places with coffee. It's a bit too late for coffee for me, so no. Am I hangry? No, I'm not hangry, but I am indeed hungry. Sour, I'm really enjoying your live streams from London. Am I the only one who can hear? Lydia, there is audio, yes. Don't you have any hobbies? Do you have any hobbies? I really love making videos. I mean, I just really love making videos. I can't stop. Like, I am addicted to making live videos, and I love telling stories. Right now I'm doing a lot more TikTok, and the reason I'm doing this philosophical chat is so you can, you already know me for my history, but my hobby is learning a lot about spirituality, philosophy, and metaphysics. So, and I write about those on my personal page. So I do have a Instagram. You can follow my Urbanist Instagram, Urbanist Live. Though you'll learn about history and food and culture. But if you want to follow my personal Instagram, it's the Ariel Vieira, and there I talk a lot about spirituality and philosophies and metaphysics. So that's my hobby personally, and also filmmaking. So you will see at some point a movie that is science fiction that will include stuff I learned from history, and it will also include stuff I learned from spirituality and metaphysics. I could walk around all day taking pics. Me too, Cindy. Have pizza. There's a place in front of here called Front Street Pizza. It has good reviews. No offense to anyone who has tried it. It has very good reviews because I think a lot of tourists have come here. It's not really good pizza. It's not really good pizza. I would have Juliana's nearby, but Dumbo is so packed right now on weekends. Right here is nice and quiet, but that area by the waterfront, that's why I couldn't take the ferry. There were just so many people. So no Juliana's Pizza for me right now. I would have to wait like an hour for that. You're good at it. I so hope you get a show and direct a movie, as you mentioned. Thank you so much, Bernard. Yeah. Let me know what's your dreams. What are your hobbies? Let me know in the comments. I did just have pizza. I just had one slice before starting the last video. So I really want something made with like fish. But yeah. I just love telling stories. I love the art of speaking. I love the art of storytelling without a script or without a plan, or sometimes with a plan, but without a script. You know, I don't have a script when I do my videos. A lot of videos I do without anything. I research, but if I do have something, when the topics are a little bit more specific, I don't have a script, but I do have notes. I have notes. So this is the tour I did today, and because I want to give you guys a very tight experience for my history tours, I plan the route out. So I do anywhere between 3 to 10 hours or more of research. For Carroll Gardens, I did maybe 5 hours of research, 6 hours of research. So yeah, I do a lot of research. It might be an hour video, but I do a lot more reading before then. And the reason I do that type of reading, the reason I do 6 hours of research for a 1 hour video is I do understand a lot of people make history videos. And I do understand that there's other YouTubers out there that I know personally, for example, that do talk about facts and tidbits of history. But if you see my show, I like telling you these facts and stories in an interesting way. Not just straightforward. I want to kind of give you an emotional punch in a factual, historical way. I want to give you a story. I want to really immerse you in something. Everyone's different. Everyone does their content differently. But for me, I just want to be able to speak something that hits. And that's why I do extra research, because the way I'm able to tell stories on a whim that are impactful is by knowing much more than I have to say. Because if I don't know enough, you're gonna realize I have nothing to say. And sometimes I have nothing to say, like on a wandering, like right now we're just chatting. But I love speaking. So that's my hobby. And you're good at what you do. Thank you. You know, it's kind of it's a bit weird. I'll read your comments soon. Thank you everyone so much for leaving the comments. It is a bit weird to say that. I love speaking, but I'm coming to terms that I love the sound of my own voice. I love to make videos where I am speaking, where I am in front of the camera. And it might sound like it's I'm gassing myself up, I'm a little bit full of myself, or at least it might be misinterpreted that way. I know many of you probably won't misinterpret it that way, but I used to be very afraid of that, but I'm coming to terms with it because hell, you know, there are people who are great filmmakers, there are people who are amazing artists and painters. I wouldn't want an amazing painter, I wouldn't want a Vincent van Gogh. Oh, that's not a good example. I wouldn't want a Picasso to stop painting. I wouldn't want a Pollock to stop painting. Or I wouldn't want a Edgar Allan Poe to stop writing. Or I wouldn't want a James Cameron to stop filming. And for me, my thing is speaking and making videos. That combination of speaking and making videos. So I'm coming into terms like, hell yeah, I love doing that. And I'm gonna keep on doing it. That's why I'm here. You can't shut up a New York. You can't shut a New Yorker up. That's too. maybe it's a little bit of being a New Yorker as well. We obviously love you when you speak. You know, one of my heroes is Alan Watts. I actually don't listen to too much history lectures, unless if I'm doing research specifically. Actually, I do listen to a lot of history lectures. I listen to a lot of lectures. But in terms of speaking out loud, I don't have anyone who is history specific who I look up to in my craft of storytelling and speaking. That person is actually Alan Watts, who was an English philosopher, brought a lot of Eastern mythology, Eastern philosophy over to the West. And just search him up on YouTube, because a lot of people recorded his lectures, so you can hear his full lectures. They're sometimes an hour, 2 hours. He has lectures that are sometimes 6 and 7 hours. And the way he's able to speak completely spontaneously and without a script, it is absolutely beautiful. He's able to really touch your heart in a magnificent way. And I just absolutely love him. And if I aspire to be anyone in terms of speaking, it's Alan Watts. You kind of remind me of the way Art Bell spoke. Ooh, I don't know who Art Bell is. I gotta check him out. Who is he? Okay, so let me read your comments. What do you envision the future of Manhattan? It's gonna be a bit slow for a few years, I think. It could be a little bit worse. I don't know. However, whatever happens, no matter how bad it may or may not get in the next year, Manhattan will bounce back, and New York will bounce back, and better than ever. So you're going to see huge, massive innovations, especially with electric vehicles. These massive innovations with electric vehicles are really going to revolutionize how the city is, because if you hear in the distance these loud rumbles of the train, of the cars passing through, we have the BQE right next to us, we have the Manhattan Bridge, so much noise. But the innovations of electric vehicles, battery power, that will really not make suddenly many buildings not depend to be connected fully to the grid. Also, faster internet speeds. A lot of things are about to radically change. We might go through a little bit of tough times. I think the best case scenario is that New York City is just a little bit sleepy for a year. The worst case scenario is that it goes through some very rocky times, but we'll get there. Do you think my travel business will pick up? People love to travel. I don't think travel's going to go away. Rather, it might seem right now at this very moment in time that travel might disappear. It might go away. And that might be the case for a year or two, maybe 3. However, what's happening right now is making a lot of people wake up to the reality that we haven't been traveling the best. There's so much better ways to travel, much more deeper, gratifying ways to travel. To travel not in the sense of just going to take your pleasure, to snap a few Instagram photos here at Washington Street, buy expensive food from Westville over here, not to pick up on any names, or some trendy restaurant and leave. I think what's going to happen is people are going to start traveling with much more consciousness. People are going to start traveling with more care and love for the places they go to. And hopefully a show like mine and a few others, like my friend Action Kid and my friend Jennifer and Mary Jane, inspire people to travel to the heart of New York. not just the superficial parts of New York. I do understand there's many beautiful Instagrams to be taken, many trendy restaurants to go to. And I don't blame you. I do that myself when I go to other cities. But I think there's an opportunity to travel on a much more deeper level. Talking with locals, going to these tiny little neighborhoods, making friends, meeting lovers. There's many more beautiful ways to travel. I think we'll reconnect with that. And also with airlines, I think also with the electric revolution, we're going to have better airlines. Hopefully. Tahiti's open. Oh, that's good. Karina, thank you so much for the stars. Stanley, thank you so much for the stars. I know of Alan Waltz. He also had issues like any other human. Yeah, Alan Waltz had issues. But don't let his personal life detract from his message. I think he had a pretty good personal life nonetheless. He did suffer from alcoholism. And I look up to Alan Waltz, but Alan Waltz did depend on alcohol to loosen up and to give better talks. He was known to have many glasses of wine before doing any type of speaking event. He has a few speaking events where he was actually audibly drunk and nonetheless speaking beautifully. But I learned from, you have to look at your heroes in all different lights. You both have to admire them and replicate and take from their great qualities, but you also have to look at their downsides and learn from them. And at least with Alan Waltz, I'm learning from his own mistakes, that it's one does not need to depend on alcohol or any drugs or any medication to loosen up on stage, to loosen up in front of a video camera, or loosen up. I don't blame you. It's okay to take maybe a little bit of CBD or kava, or which I've done so before, or a drink or two or a cocktail. That's okay. It's okay. But for me as a professional, I don't want to depend on that. And yeah, okay. Great radio voices. Caitlin, thank you so much for the stars. Art Bell, Steve Harvey. Oh, interesting. Or the Staten Island Farm Colony. Oh, I haven't heard about the Farm Colony. Please let me know more. I'll look into Staten Island. It's a bit tough to visit Staten Island. It's expensive. One needs a car to get around. But I'll look into doing more Staten Island. People have asking for a lot of Staten Island. I'll check it. I'll look into Staten Island again. Why don't you hear gunshots? Because there aren't any. One, I tend to visit neighborhoods where I generally feel safe. There are other YouTubers out there and other Facebookers, YouTube specifically. My friend Action Kid is a lot more daring, and he goes to neighborhoods I usually won't really visit. So that's why you haven't seen anything of crime or anything. Thank God first, but beyond that, you haven't seen that because I just don't go to those neighborhoods. Everyone has their different tastes. I don't. It's not my show. It's not my show. My show is showing you history and showing you food. That's my show. Yeah. I know about. Okay. Gretchen, I really do hope the best for your travel business. I love the perspective you give us everywhere you are. Give us the history. That is the norm because it's much more personal. On a personal level, we love that. You're more Shakespeare for me. Oh, thank you, John. I appreciate that. Why you say that? Maybe because I speak with a little bit of a rhythm more than other speakers. Well, I was due for a visit for New York City, says Adam, for the first time this year, but the ongoing situation had to cancel. What are your top 5 films and documentaries set in New York? Ooh, I like that question, Adam. Your honesty, I'll answer that question right soon. Let me read out the other comments. Your honesty is pure. That's why you're so good. Oh, I'm so glad. What if James Cameron stopped painting or started filming? James Cameron does paint, but he's mostly known for filming. So James Cameron said he was going to retire. I hope he doesn't. Just found out about your channel through John Barr. So I take it you're into philosophy. Yes, I am, Ian, but this is just a one-off broadcast. I usually cover history and walk around cities. Wow, 2 Ariel channels a day. You have a YouTube channel? Yes. Search Urbanist History of Cities. That's my Urbanist YouTube channel. I have a personal one, Ariel Vieira. There you'll find my dance videos and my short films. Stanley, thank you so much for the stars. Were you like a film or literature student in high school? No, I am a graduate in electrical engineering. I have a bachelor's in engineering. And I used to work in the tech industry and the media industry before I ever started Urbanist. Ariel es un gran narrador y muy entretenidos tus videos. You're a great narrator and very entertaining. Qué bien, gracias por ese complemento. Qué bien, puede preguntarme cualquier cosa en español. Okay, so, your knowledge and enthusiasm are a gift that you share with us. My pleasure. Is everything open? Some things, not so many. What are your thoughts about Stoicism? It's a very important philosophy. I think it's no coincidence that the greatest influence on Stoicism today is Marcus Aurelius, who I did a brief video on in Rome. He wrote the Meditations, and it was mostly centered around Stoicism, which means, basically, for anyone who doesn't know, it means always moving forward. Anything comes in your way, keep moving forward. Be serious, be firm, stand your ground, and move forward. That's what Stoicism means. So I think, yes, that's a beautiful philosophy. I think you can learn so much from it. I think it's no coincidence that Marcus Aurelius was such a powerful and good ruler during his time. So I think it's no coincidence. He didn't seem to be the best father, though, because Commodus ended up being a bit crazy. So 5 films. Documentaries, I would recommend New York. I forgot what it's called, but New York, A History, I think it's called. And it's made by Rick Burns, who's the brother of Ken Burns. Great, great documentary. Highly recommend it. I think it's still on Amazon Prime. Another documentary about New York is 1977, the year of the blackout, I think it's called. Or the worst year of New York, something along those lines. If you really want to know about gritty 1970s New York, search 1977. Another great movie, great documentary about New York is the Highline documentary is really good. It's a fun documentary. Yeah. Films. 5 films, and let me know also what are your top films about New York City. Premium Rush. And I'm going to have a list that's very different from most other people. So I'm not going to tell you the stereotypical films. There's a lot of great films about New York. A lot of people know about West Side Story, okay? I'm going to tell you other films. Premium Rush, starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Great New York City movie that takes you right into the streets of New York City. This modern era, it was filmed a little bit less than 10 years ago, about a bike messenger that's on the run, being chased by an evil police cop. It's a bit relevant to what's happening today. Great movie. Shows you Chinatown, shows you the Chinatown underworld, shows you New York City by bike. Fun movie. One of the best movies in my opinion. The second movie is Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist is absolutely magical. I've seen that movie maybe 5 or 6 times. I recently saw it again. To be honest, that movie made me tear up. That movie, if you want to get an understanding of my New York, I know many of you resonate with movies like Moonstruck, for example. Maybe some of you resonate with what's another good film? May resonate with like a Taxi Driver or there's a lot of great movies. You might resonate with a movie like The Intern, or a rom-com like When Harry Met Sally. If you want to know my New York, see Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist. It stars Michael Cera, and I think her name is Kate Dennings. And it's just an absolutely magical film. It's about a guy and a girl who goes on an adventure to find a secret concert. And it shows you all the quintessential indie rock venues that I used to go a lot when I was in my early to mid-20s. That film came out, I think, in 2008. And then 2009 is when I really started experiencing New York. When I started experiencing Brooklyn and Williamsburg and Bushwick. So that movie captures it. A third movie, this won't be a movie, but this is a TV series. Lasted 2 seasons. You can treat it as a gigantic movie. It's called How to Make It in America. That movie I deeply resonate as well because it is also what I consider my New York. It's the New York I grew to know. Because everyone has a different New York. Even at this current moment, everyone has a different New York. You know, there's people living in the Bronx who have a different experience. There's people living in Park Slope, Brooklyn who has a different experience. There's people living in Manhattan who has a different experience. It's countless different versions of New York. A lot of people say, oh, you're not a New Yorker for this or that, or only New Yorkers do this or do that. No, New York is 8 million people in this city. There's so many different versions of New York. There's not one definitive version of New York. There's some New Yorks that are more depicted in film, but there's not one definitive version of New York. So, watch How to Make It in America. And that'll be my top 3 recommendation. I love Shame. Shame is a great movie. Great New York movie. I agree, Rory. A Tree Grows in Brooklyn. Great recommendation. I love Brooklyn. She's the One with Ed Burns. Oh, I gotta check out that movie. I think I saw it when I was little. Warriors. Oh yeah. Warriors, come out and play. The Heiress. Oh, I haven't seen The Heiress. I like these common recommendations. Christine says Midnight Cowboy, Chelsea Girls, Party Monster. Ooh, Party Monster about the limelight. I haven't seen that movie yet. Liquid Sky. Oh, Liquid Sky is the crazy movie, right? About like sci-fi aliens in New York and like disco and stuff like that. It's like disco aliens. I think that's the movie. Let me know. I really gotta check out that movie. I myself want to make a disco movie, so at some point. I love disco. Let me know if you like disco. I'm a romantic, so Barefoot in the Park. Oh, I haven't heard about that film. Bernard also says Liquid Sky. Oh, a lot of people are saying Liquid Sky. Annie Hall is such a great film. Yes, Woody Allen is a very controversial figure. Yeah, he's a controversial figure. That's all. I'll leave it at that. But can't deny that Annie Hall is a really great film. He's done some marvelous films. You're Brilliant says, oh, Daisy, thank you so much. What do you like to do when you're not working with film and urbanist related stuff? I do a whole lot of film and urbanist stuff. This is a full-time thing. And then my job is filming. But when I'm not doing that, I'm either writing. And I've been really obsessed with philosophy, metaphysics, and spirituality. So I constantly read about that, and I thought I read everything I needed to read, and now I find myself reading even more. I'm really into UFOs. I'm really into to ancient secrets, mythology, and learning about potentially our ancient forgotten past. So I'm into those things, yeah. But I take those topics with seriousness. If you see any of my history videos, I take history seriously. Yes, I'm not a historian. I'm not a lecturer. I'm not a journalist. This is entertainment, but it's entertainment where I take the history seriously. And those other topics that I research that are a little bit more out there, I also take it with seriousness. So if I ever do end up making more videos about it, you'll know that it comes from a place where I'm taking it with good, purposeful research and consideration for all sides. Where am I right now? Well, now it's kind of getting dark, but that's the Manhattan Bridge. This is a Washington Street in the neighborhood of Dumbo, and I'm really hungry. I gotta go soon and eat. Where are you now? Oh yeah, we answered that. Do you think we're gonna have a disclosure? Yeah. John, I said that I'm gonna talk about anything in this broadcast. So this broadcast is not going to be public after this. So feel free to ask me any crazy questions. When it comes to UFOs, there's a lot of great, just history on it. Do I support BLM? Of course I do. Black Lives Matter. I won't get into politics, but if history is any indication, African Americans have been just as important to American culture, if not extremely important to American culture in the deepest of levels, from jazz to chicken and waffles. I don't mean that as a joke. I mean, seriously, there's been some great food, some great music, some great actors, some great filmmakers, Wesley Snipes, Eddie Murphy, Chris Rock, great comedians, great hip hop, electronic music, funk music, early rock music, punk. You think punk, it comes from white bands? No. One of the first punk bands was a band called Death. They were all African American. African Americans have been pivotal to our culture, and Black Lives Matter. Of course they do. And I don't mean that as a political statement. I mean that just completely obviously, in terms of history, in terms of our city, we wouldn't be the same without African Americans, just like Puerto Rican Americans, just like Italian Americans, just like Irish Americans. African Americans have been pivotal to the beauty of New York City, the beauty of Brooklyn, the beauty of the U.S. When's your birthday? June 19th. Okay, so do you think there's going to be disclosure? Disclosure means, do you think they're going to reveal that UFOs actually exist? Because there's theories that it has been kept secret for many decades. There's good history about Roswell. You know, there's of course a story about UFO, but when you get into the Roswell story, there's a lot of weird things. I did a very brief video about 1942. Actually, I haven't done the video. I really want to go to LA and do a video about the Battle of Los Angeles. Not the film about aliens, but the real weird phenomenon that happened in 1942. Thousands of people, tens of thousands of people saw this. I think it was up to 30,000 people saw dozens of lights in the sky popping in and out. And then suddenly the US military started firing on these lights in the sky. Again, tens of thousands of people in Los Angeles saw this in 1942, reported. There's newspaper reports, there's photographic evidence, there's crazy things about it. It's a very interesting story. US military started firing on these lights that night, and then suddenly, boom, nothing. The police departments all around Los Angeles got thousands of calls from people very concerned. And the next day, the military said it was just a practice run. People were afraid that it might have been a surprise Japanese attack on Los Angeles. And that was the most obvious explanation. But the fact that it was random lights that pop up all around Los Angeles, there was tens of thousands of people who saw it, and the Japanese never claimed that they attacked, and the American military claimed that it was just a test. So it's a bit of a weird story, and there's many stories like that. Without getting into what it was, it's interesting questions. I think history is not always about facts. History is about asking good questions. Let's all storm Area 51. I wouldn't do that. But hopefully maybe one day I can do a live video tour of Area 51. That would be great. Am I afraid of COVID? I'm not afraid of COVID. I am concerned about it, but I try not to be afraid of it. So I keep myself in good health. I take the necessary precautions that I believe from what I've read are the best precautions. To me, it's wearing a mask, sanitizing my hands, washing my hands, not touching my face. Simple things. Same things I would do with the flu. And I'm not hanging out in crowds. So, yeah. Do I believe in ghosts? In a way, yes. I believe there is phenomenon that is not explainable by our current understanding of physics. Think about this. Let's go back to the mid-1800s. If I were to bring back an iPhone, which I'm using right now, if I were to go bring back an iPhone, back in time, we'll show this iPhone to someone, and they would turn it on, right? And they would see a video, right? I downloaded a video. Let's say I downloaded a video. I went back into the 1850s, and I showed that person a video. Could be of anything. I showed them a video. That person first would be amazed that I have this device that is online, or not online, but has images, right? First they'll be amazed by that. But what do you think the person would think of the video? They would say, if they can make sense of it, they would say, oh yeah, the video is in the phone. The video is the phone, right? Like a painting is the canvas, right? Like oil has been put on the canvas, and that's the painting. Okay. If I tell a person in the 1850s, or I tell someone, a person who is an uncontacted tribe in Brazil, that there are radio signals, internet signals, Wi-Fi signals going wirelessly, invisible to the naked eye. You can't see these signals. You can't see them, right? It's starting to sound crazy if you put it in that context. Can't see these signals, but somehow it goes to the phone and shows you a video. Somehow, I'm here in Washington Street in Brooklyn, and somehow you're getting signals through the air, invisible to the naked eye, and instantaneously, within only a 10 to 30 second delay, maybe even less, you're getting an image of me. Tell that to someone in the 1850s. And this is all technology, says Kate. Well, Kate, let's broaden our perspective a little bit. This is in the context of technology, but the reason I'm using this example is radio waves, Wi-Fi, is a physical phenomenon. It's a physical phenomenon that in the 1850s, no one could have made sense of it. Radio wasn't invented until Tesla, which was in 1890. Right, around 1890, a little bit earlier, 1880. Radio wasn't formalized until Marconi, who invented the radio signal and sent the first wireless communication. Before then, there was only theories about radio and no hard evidence. Before the 1800s, there really wasn't any understanding of radio, because in order to even understand radio, you have to understand electrical signals. You have to understand how waves work, right? Not everything is a particle, not everything is mass, not everything is a hard plastic. There are waves. Light is a wave, right? So, yes, we use technology for that. But that is a physical phenomenon that would be beyond comprehension to the majority of people in the 1850s. It's a physical phenomenon that if you go to the 1300s, most people would think you're either insane or talking about religion, talking about spirituality. That said, yeah, you can take it.
You by yourself?
Yeah, by myself. Yeah. It's a physical phenomenon that would be seen as crazy in the 1300s. But it's a phenomenon nonetheless. We just end up figuring it out. It took us almost 2,000 years because the first time the phenomenon of radio waves, of signals being transferred through the air, was first really discussed, at least in our modern history, in ancient Greek times. So, that said, who's to say that we know everything that that we already know? Who's to say that ghosts don't exist, or UFOs of lights? You know, UFOs are usually seen or reported to be ships that pop in and out from our physical eyesight. Who's to say that that is not possible? It's not. It's not. Right? So that's my understanding of why there's so much more to learn about our universe. To say that something does not exist, I think, is limiting the possibilities of exploration of our physical world. That's why I say, though, there is a difference between making a crazy claim, because in the 1300s, people during the Black Death thought the Black Death was demons, right? You have to, I think, especially once you start looking into history, it really pays off to have some type of logical reasoning to really know step by step how you got to some conclusion. I talk a lot about history, and generally, when I talk about something, not only when I not only say facts, things that just happened, but I lend my insight of why it might have happened, why this might occur in history, right? I've talked a lot about this before. That's what my show is different from a history lecture. I'm not just merely just saying a factual chronology of something. I'm sometimes lending my insights, my understanding, the way I get to these ways of viewing things. That goes through a logical progression. And through that logical progression, you're saying something that's substantial. Hence, there's a difference between believing in ghosts or UFOs or ancient forgotten civilization like Atlantis or Lemuria or something, right? There's things out in our world that you can just believe blindly. And it's okay to believe them. I'm not judging you for believing them. However, you can also think about it logically, make your way and say, maybe there's something there. Maybe there's more questions to ask. And that's the difference, I think. I'm not saying those things are true. I'm not saying that I know the truth. I'm just saying that there are good questions to ask. That's ultimately what my show is about. They're taking all the tables, and I think these guys want to go home. So who wants to continue the conversation for about 10 more minutes? I'm not sure if you guys are liking this. Let me know. Again, I usually don't do these type of conversations on Urbanist, but I thought to give you a little special. So let me know if you're enjoying this. I'll answer a few of your questions. Let me move. All right. And I got to put on my mask. Go ahead. Hey, Guav says, love your magic. Thank you for this $7 Canadian. I appreciate it, man. Thank you so much. John says another hour. Oh, good. Okay. Thank you so much, Gav. Please correct me on how to spell your name. Okay. I'm going to continue this for 10 minutes because I am really hungry. But if you want me to do more philosophical chats at some point in the future, ones that, I'll keep, let me know in the comments. And I'll do them maybe like once a month or something. Yeah, so let me know. Yes, please. This topic is interesting. Okay, so Stephanie, I'll get to your question. Wait up. Let me find a place where I can settle down just for 10 more minutes. When we're going to eat, I don't know. I really am hungry, and this area has everything closed. I don't know. Maybe I'll just order a Juliana's pizza and wait for it. Yeah, maybe I'll do that. Okay. Let me find the place, and then I will continue the conversation. How come you live in Nassau County? Don't you miss living in the city? How different is it from the city? Juan, most of my income came from freelance filmmaking. So I work with clients, and most of my clients were real life events, conferences, lectures, panels, and also performing arts. And the pandemic took all of them. So I don't have a substantial income for rent. And that's why I had to move back to a place where I don't require to pay rent. So yeah, that's why. That's the honest truth. That's why I couldn't stay. Ooh, there's something here. Oh, it's gonna get very dark in here. We need more deep and meaningful conversations on many of these topics, and you're interesting enough to deliver them. Oh, I'm glad, man. How many miles do you walk a day? I get asked this all the time. Usually around anywhere from 6 to 10 miles. I think 10 is probably, I would say Apollo 7 is probably the average. Right, New York City is freaking expensive. It is expensive. My business was entirely dependent on real life events. I'm grateful I have Urbanist. I'm grateful for all the star senders, the super chatters, the supporters, and the patrons. We have many new supporters on Facebook, many new patrons like Stephanie, which I'll get to your question. Ask me again, Stephanie. So I really appreciate everyone doing that. So that has helped continue the show, because the show does incur expenses like data and gear and using the phone and taking time to research and stuff like that. So yeah. God, do I believe in God? Yes, I do believe in a God. I do believe in God. That's plain and simple. I do. Yes. You're on Twitter? Yeah, but I barely use it. I have a Twitter, but barely use it. So, oh, look at this. Wow. Absolutely love this. It's very dark, but look at this beautiful view. So yeah, I do believe in God, in the sense that there is an ultimate, there is an all, there is an almighty. I don't believe it's a guy with a beard, necessarily. So yeah. Okay. I'm gonna sit down in the grass. This is awesome. Okay, I am very dark. Let's see.